welcome to Half the Battle. Well, it's the first review of 2024, and I wanted to start things off weird. I think I've succeeded.
So meet Grimskull. This figure was released in 2006 with one original body part, namely the head. The whole rest of the figure is from a Snake Eyes toy from 2002. Grimskull is...
I know I've heard that name before.
Anyway, he does look weird, but also unique, which is a small miracle when your entire body is reused from a previous one. And it's kinda obvious what look they were going for here. Like a Nazi stormtrooper, but due to the yellow, he's got a sad clown thing going on.
I'm not a big fan of the body mold.
I wasn't when it was Snake Eyes either, it's just too lanky. Plus the arms and elbows feel awkward to handle and pose. This mold does have the advantage of coming with extra articulation at the wrists and feet. As for detailing, it looks deceptively sparse. That's because most of it is in black, so you don't really notice it, but there's lots of pouches, weapons, and unidentifiable bits. It's like they went out of their way to make the color scheme subdued, but then why all the freaking yellow? It's even worse on the back.
This figure is a land of contrasts.
Now, let's take a look at the only original part, the head. Yeah, I can see the stormtrooper thing, but it also reminds me of the Iron Grenadiers. And the half-black, half-yellow face, is that supposed to be intimidating?
It's just goofy.
For accessories, he came with what G.I.Joe.com hilariously refers to as an Uzi, but looks like a whole bunch of nothing, and one big-ass unwieldy rifle. Seriously, is he compensating for something? It's so cumbersome it's very difficult to get him to hold it, never mind in a cool way. Overall, it's not a great figure. They were going for intimidating, but missed the mark a bit. And that was the only figure Grimskull ever got, even though I know I've heard that name before.
That means it's time to talk about the character, starting with the file card.
And he's a plague trooper. Now I know why it took me so long to look at this toy. There was that whole apocalypse we went through. Surprisingly though, they have little to do with an actual plague. So, what are plague troopers? Well, one day, Cobra Commander had an idea.
Okay, a sentence that starts that way is rarely a good thing, but it wasn't a bad idea in this case.
He wanted his own G.I. Joe team, with blackjack and hookers.
I feel like I should elaborate.
You see, the commander finally figured out the Joe team were so successful because it was a group of elite specialists, all with their own special skills to bring to the table, and not a faceless army of dumb as bricks mooks.
And he wanted some of that.
So he formed the Plague Troopers, a squad comprised of individuals with their own skills. Though they still all looked alike because let's not go crazy there. They're the elite of Cobra, the best of the best. Even though the Crimson Guard already were that. Or the Snow Serpents.
Or you know what? There were a lot of Cobra units that were supposed to be the best of the best.
But sure, these guys are it now. And since they are all individuals, that brings us to Grimskull. What does he bring to the table of the Cobra A-Team, or C-Team if you will? Well, with that name you'd assume he's from the Range Vipers since they have that skull motif going, but no, he's actually from the Sand Vipers. He caught the attention of Cobra Commander when on a mission to retrieve live mutation samples from a lab. Getting there, he found the only way to get live samples back was to inject his men with them. The file card doesn't go into detail, but I imagine it didn't end well for his troops. Since the commander was so impressed by his ruthlessness, he transferred him to the Plague Troopers.
There's not much more to say about him.
He showed up in the modern Devil's Due comic book series and was only available as a toy in a 6-figure box set called Plague Troopers vs. Steel Brigade.
There's still that name though. Got it!
It was the Cursed Prince from Skeleton Warriors. I guess Hasbro isn't the only company that can let copyrights lapse. And that was Grimskull. Yeah, I'm not wowed by the figure or the character. I do have quite a few of these as generic troopers, not as individuals, cause Cobra Commander can't tell me how to play with my toys.
Well, I'll see you next time, everybody, and hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing. I didn't put this here to show off. It's legitimately because I haven't found a spot to display it yet. It's huge.